Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Youth on the Wheels. We are Noah and Hawa, your hosts, and we appreciate you joining the conversation.
Welcome to our first episode of the Youth on the Wheels. In today's episode, we are excited to feature Najjib Abdallah Mutiawa. Let me say the name well. Najjib Abdallah Mutiawa. A proud dad, devoted husband, and a remarkable example of balancing life's many responsibilities. By the day, Najjib excels as a manager, and by the night, he immerses himself in the world of data and security as a dedicated student. When the weekend comes, you will find him passionately working on his farm, embodying the spirit of hard work and dedication. Najjib believes in the power of sharing experiences to uplift and motivate others, and especially the youth, me being one of them. I was managed by Najjib for around 6 months or 8. Today we dive into the vital discussion of finance and goal setting, especially focusing on how our youths can achieve their financial literacy and independence. Najjib will share with us valuable insights on managing resources, setting achievable goals, building a sustainable future, but in his experience. Welcome, Najjib.
Yeah, thank you so much, Noah. Great to be here. Firstly, as a point of caution, what I'm sharing is not financial knowledge from an expert. It is my experience.
Exactly.
My name is Najjib. I'm a farmer. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. I'm a manager. How I balance all of those things,
that's what we were.
I have no idea. Not sure if I'm doing a good job managing though, but yeah. I think I'm headed to the right direction.
Can you start off here? Can you share with us just a little bit about your personal journey with finances?
Okay.
Yeah.
So firstly, my experience with finance is not a very educated one because I was raised by a series of environments in terms of finance. We were not very cautious about this is how you must manage money. You must learn how to save money. You must learn how to invest money. But one of the blessings of life that I have experienced with money is that I married an accountant.
Okay.
Now, I have lost a lot of money. I have made quite a bit of money. But that experience of living with money has been strongly strengthened by the woman I married, who's my wife. She's from an accounting background. She's from a somewhat wealthy family, so her experience with money is different from my experience with money.
Yeah.
There was a time we were having a discussion about money, and she was questioning me about how I was spending money at that time. And I told her, you know what, babe, I don't know how to save or manage money. I know how to make money, right? I am good at making money.
Yeah.
But if you give me the responsibility of managing it, sweetheart, we are going to be bankrupt all our lives.
So what you're trying to say is that your financial journey has greatly been aided by the partner you chose in your wife.
Greatly. To this day. This day.
In your journey when you were growing up, what was the experience like around finances from your background? Let's say your parents they're wealthy.
Yeah. So I had a very wealthy dad.
Yeah.
Who, for the last 10 years before he passed on, struggled with money a lot.
Okay.
Right? My dad worked with Civil Aviation Authority. So we grew up in a very comfortable life. Like, he was rich. But when he lost his job, shit hit the fan.
Wow.
Right? I remember there was a time he came to visit me in my Form 6. I think it was term 2. And he gave me pocket money of 500 shillings. And what he said, he gave me a coin. I swear on my life. He gave me a coin of 500 shillings and said, you know what, man? This is all I could have today. So, but I've come.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I always used to get around 10K for pocket money. So, yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, the highlight of that was he gave me 500 shillings. Said, man, you know what? I'm so broke, man. But I have come, man. And here's 500 shillings for you.
Wow.
But yeah, at the time, I didn't understand it. But growing up, having tested both lives, finances became very important to me.
Yeah.
Right? He was a civil servant and then he lost his job. He didn't have any loans. I don't know how he managed. But my life from the time he lost his job to the time he passed on was a different view of what could happen if you don't manage your finances very well.
Yeah. So going back to the point where you said that your partner has been very crucial in your financial life.
Yeah.
What are some of the common mistakes that you have done and we can learn from as the youth? What can we learn from your mistakes? What are those lessons that you've taken from your financial mistakes?
All right. So I'm going to speak about that in 2 experiences. One was with my father. The second one was with myself. What I noticed about my father is that the kind of friends he had are partly the reason why he struggled with money for the last part of his life.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
These are friends who would they would meet up for alcohol over the weekend. Most of them would only come back when he's working on a different project. For example, he's constructing something. When he had the money, that's when you would know, oh, Uncle X is here, right?
Uncle Noah,
Uncle Noah, stand up, man. Like, that's the only time you would know that, oh, now my dad has money, because those friends would only be seen at our home. Even some of his relatives, his brothers, some of my uncles would only come home when my dad has money. So it's extremely important, the quality of friends you surround yourself with.
True.
Right? Extremely important. So that is the experience for my father. The second one is that when I had just married my wife, that was in 2020, I had access to some investment that I invested in a business that I was not so informed about. So I just got a project. I was very interested in the project. It was a rabbit farming business.
Yeah.
Was very interested. I did my mathematics and it made sense at that time.
Yeah.
Right? But I did not look at this business holistically to understand what the risks are and where am I likely to suffer losses. Now, the biggest mistake I made with that investment is I invested all my money in that one investment, right? If we were operating, that would be a single point of failure. And indeed it was.
Yeah.
Right? Because I lost about $25,000 in that investment.
Wow.
All of it, right? And when that money was lost, that loss did not just affect me. It affected my family directly. It affected my siblings directly. So all the people I was responsible for were affected.
So what you're saying is that essentially, if you were to think of finances as a young man, we have to think of the people we surround ourselves with.
Very important.
And also always be careful and diversify when you're investing.
Yes. Because honestly, if, for example, if I had invested, let's say, 10,000 in that investment and 10,000 in Mulika Studios, and maybe a 5K in a different business, right? Like, I would at least have about 15K worth of investments left, even up to this point. And that is if none of them had made any money 5 years down the road, right? But the fact that I invested all of that money in a single investment and I lost all of it, that has been a great learning opportunity for me.
I want to tell you, our dear listener, that this podcast is proudly brought to you by Mulika Studios, and my guest mentioned before I did. But yeah,
Would be a good investment for me.
yeah, I think we should pay. So we're going to take a break and we'll return just in a bit.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Looking for high-quality audio production? Whether you're a podcaster, musician, or filmmaker, Mulika Studios brings innovation, creativity, and originality to every project. From professional recording and mixing to top-tier sound design, we ensure clarity and impact in every sound. And now, we're expanding knowledge with Mulika Audio School. Learn audio production, sound design, and music composition, all online, anytime, anywhere. Quality, authenticity, excellence. That's Mulika Studios. Let's create something original. Visit www.mulikastudios.com or contact +256 756 150 993 to book your session today. Mulika Studios, illuminating sound.
Yeah, our dear listener, welcome back to Youth on the Wheels. This episode is proudly brought to you by Mulika Studios, and we are with Najjib Abdallah Mutiawa. Najjib, I want to quickly shift your focus to goals. Do you set goals personally? Do you value goals? Is it a direct factor to contributing to your success as a person right now?
Yes, very much so. Yes. So firstly, goals are important, right?
Yeah.
But their importance is not just about setting them and speaking them to yourself and your friends. I have a goal this year. I have to, do ABCD. That's not what goals are for, man. All right? Goals are to status check yourself against where you want to be, in my opinion.
Status check.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know how it comes by for everyone, but me personally, I remember in my primary 7 vacation, I told my dad, at the time we stayed in Mpelere, and there was a local gym at Mpelere. And Mpelere at that time, it was like the crime center of Kawempe division, like every criminal at that point.
Gaza.
Yeah, the Gaza of crime at that point was Mpelere.
Yeah.
So I told my dad that I wanted to start boxing.
Yeah.
And he told me, no way. You want to become a Gaza?
Yeah.
Right? Because I wanted access to that gym. Like I wanted him to take me to the gym and, so I can learn boxing. And he said, no, there's no way.
Yeah.
But in my Form 4 vac, I had learned how to box without my father knowing. And I came back and told him, Dad, you know that now I can box. I know how to box now.
Yeah.
And I reminded him that, you remember when I was in primary 7, I told you I wanted to learn how to box.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I know how to box.
Yeah.
The reason I'm giving you that experience is that sometimes it takes longer than expected to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
But the reason why it is to status check is for yourself to hold yourself accountable to achieve that goal, if it still serves your purpose.
Okay.
Yeah?
So you are saying literally we should have goals, but we should focus more on using them as checkers towards our success.
Yes.
It's not one thing we should auto-suggest to ourselves.
Don't be robotic to say, because, for example, I'll speak about something as relatable as Mulika Studio.
Yeah.
You might have had your revenue targets in 2020 as, let's say, $50,000 annually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that was to the fact that you did not understand the operationability of a studio
Yeah.
as you do now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because now that you have the exposure of, this is how you actually make money from a recording studio, blah, 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 your goal cannot still be 50K,
Yeah.
right? Because now you actually understand what it takes to manage a recording studio, right? Now, that goal can still be to achieve a certain level of revenue, but now you have a better understanding of what it actually takes, right? So you hold yourself accountable to say, we said 50K, but we even making 500 USD money is a problem. So how do we flexibly, right? Achieve that goal with our understanding of our business now, right? So these things of saying, man, for me, I have to have a house by age 35. I have to have 3 kids by age 40. Bro, what are you doing?
So I was reading a book by James Clear. It's titled Atomic Habits. And in that book, he says, goals are important, but they are not that important.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's right.
And he says that having systems that will lead to those goals is far more important.
Yes.
So I know you for a person because, like I said, you were managing me at some point. And when we were going for those trips, I used to know that this man will wake up at 3. So even when you call me and tell me tomorrow we are leaving, by like 3 I'm up because I know I will chase your car. And that's one of the things that I've learned from you. You have like a system of operation and
system.
You wake up like every day at this time, and you make sure you are consistent.
Yes.
So what's for you? What has that done for you? Because I know for sure you have a system.
Yeah.
What has that done for you in terms of your goals and financial stability and
So the mentor I have in my head is that firstly, you have to train hard to fight easy.
Interesting.
Right?
Train hard to fight
easy.
Yeah.
Right? And I always ask myself before I do anything, like, what is the worst that could happen? Right? So I always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that systems at the start are extremely difficult. Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I'm a Muslim and I have fasted for over 20 Ramadans, right? But I want to assure you, the first 3 days of Ramadan, if I'm not caught off guard, I'll be eating in private. Because it is hard at the start. You just remember like, oh man, we are fasting. I almost ate at 3. You know?
Yeah.
But when you trust the system, it becomes automatic. It becomes easy. Right? Now, normally I am up by 3 a.m. Right? But that is from an experience of my Form 6. Because we used to wake up so early, we used to call it winter. So that experience stayed in me. Like even sometimes I wake up at 3 a.m. and I don't feel like I'm going to do anything, but I'll be up. Now, it became so automatic that if my wife tells me to wake her up at 4, she doesn't have to set the alarm.
She knows.
I will wake up before her alarm. Right?
Yeah.
So it's because now the system has become automatic. But it was difficult at the start.
You build a habit.
Yes. Now it is it's like an automation.
Yeah.
But for the start, it is difficult. You don't know how many times I've struggled to save money. Oh.
Don't we all? Yeah.
But like when you get the perks of why saving is important, it becomes very interesting.
So like there's so many young people out there who are trying to improve their lives. And you know the unemployment situation in Uganda. So I've talked to some of them, right? And I believe that even if you are unemployed, you should have a system that runs.
Yes.
Because it comes in handy when you become employed.
Yeah.
And can you shed some light on how your system has helped you achieve your daily goals, your financial goals, your work goals? Like, how is it aiding you and your growth, having a system?
Yeah. So, firstly, if you go back to goal setting, like the goals I had 5 years back are not the goals I have now, but because of the systems I put in place, it has helped me achieve my goals for 5 years back, right? And it's in line for me to achieve my goals for 10 years from now because of the systems.
Yes, because of the system.
Yes. Now, what the system does for you firstly is it shapes you, and then it shapes your environment, right?
Yeah.
The friends I had 5 years back are not the friends I have now, right? Because they couldn't fit within the system. Like I'll say, man, we are going at 5. I reach 5 and 5:15 and they're not here and I leave.
Yeah.
So they leave. Like, yo, we can't keep up with that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I have friends who respect the system now to say, when Haji says he's leaving at 8, I have to be there by 7:45.
Yeah.
You get, right?
I'm
now,
one of them.
Now the system is shaping my environment for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, the people who cannot fit within your system will start to fall off automatically because now they cannot keep up. Right? But then, I think the most important thing for me is that I trust myself and my system. Right? I'm not saying it's correct. It can be wrong. But you have to have a bit of trust, man, because at the point of you starting, it is the only thing you have, right? The idea of Mulika Studio did not start with any equipment.
True.
Right? How you met with Imanzi,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
is because your system and his system clicked. You're like, yo, I have an idea, man. I want to, I have a vision for like a production studio, blah, blah, blah. And the guy says, yo, I have the skill set.
Yeah.
Like, now with my idea and your skill set,
We can go somewhere.
the equipment will come in easy.
Yeah.
You get,
Yeah.
like, he's not the first person you pitched this studio to.
Yeah.
He's not the first person he told about his skills. You're not the first person he told about his skills first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but because you both believed in the system and like, you know what, I think we can relate and work together. This is the idea, this is the vision. Then you guys collate, and then here we are.
So
Yeah. So the system shapes you.
and your
shapes your
environment. Yeah, and your environment really has a big impact on your
Oh man, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no
So
idea.
I have a question here for you.
Yeah.
Just before we go into our last section, what advice do you have for young people like me and young people out there who want to start investing?
Investing. Very interesting. Firstly, I think the biggest investment you can ever do as a young person
Yeah.
is firstly in yourself
Yeah.
and then in people. I swear, my experience is that if I had the people I have now before I invested my first money, I don't think I would have the losses I have now. I had then. Right? So I did a bit of homework on the business, blah, blah, blah. I did projects. I pitched. I even won some money for pitching. The idea was really good. I applied for the Tony Elmelo Foundation and I went all the way to the first round for 5K. I didn't get the money. But the fact that I went all the way through from over 10,000 Africans onto the TEF and I was given an opportunity to pitch, it meant the idea was really good. Right? But I didn't have the people I'm exposed to now, right? Now, I think that as you plan to invest as a young person, I want to assure you, you cannot do it alone. You cannot.
What you're saying is we should first think about human resource. Investing in the human resource.
I mean, who are you going to sell to?
Yeah.
You're not an expert at sales. You cannot be an expert at operations. You cannot be an expert at marketing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to give it to you from my experience in the field. When you go to the West, I went to the border of Tanzania and Uganda through Isingiro. Deep in the village. And I swear, in every small town that I went to, there was a people's circle or a cooperative of some sort. I have not seen that anywhere else in this country.
And what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that the people there understood the power of human resource.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because let me ask you a question quickly. If you needed 30 million to invest in Mulika now, what are the chances that you can raise it from your circle? Yeah? You don't have to answer that, right?
I'm not going
But
to.
it will be very difficult.
Yeah.
But just imagine you and a couple of like-minded friends 10 years ago started an investment club of some sort. And it's 10 years now. Right? Like the place where I am farming now, I didn't even buy the land. But I have access to over 300 and something acres.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because within the social circles I invested in, there's someone who has over, I don't know how many square miles of land. They have this vision of farming, and they don't have a Najjib to drive that vision home.
Yeah.
Right? So when we met, I'm like, oh, I have access to ABCD. You have access to ABCD. I think if we work together, we can achieve this farming dream. Right? So invest in your community, in your friends. Right? Yeah. Now, please also note that not all of them were built like you for greatness at that. Right? Someone's goal might be to wear a very nice shoe and go out and drink his...
Look good.
Yeah, feel good.
Turn up and pop bottles.
Pop bottles, man. Right?
Yeah.
But then for you, and also we are different levels of... we are starting at different levels. Right? One might be coming from a very rich background. So investing is not important to them because after all, they are sorted. Right?
Have a trust fund.
They'll spend the money and they've not even started eating their great-grandparents' money.
Yeah.
And then there is me and you, who has to hustle all the way from scratch to ensure that the lineage is sorted after us. Right?
So you have talked about people and what that means in terms of investing, and how is it related to financial stress and anxiety? Like, how important is it to have a support system that comes around you when it comes to finances and your own growth?
Yeah, I think the reason why we get stressed when we are investing is because we don't have a fallback position. What I mean is that in different levels of your life and your growth as a person, what you're actually resolving at the ground level is a fallback position. There's a very rich man I know in Kampala. He's like one of the wealthiest people in Kampala. And I was on Kampala Road. I was picking, I think, a suit for someone. And next to me was a small forex bureau. So while we are speaking with the guys who are tailoring the suits, the guys say, this rich man X has shares in this Forex Bureau. And the person we are talking about is a billionaire. But he has shares in a small Forex Bureau. Now, how I reflected on that is that even if they took this guy's buildings, cars, and properties, his fallback position is that he would have a quick 500, 600 million somewhere because he has extremely strong and deep roots in a couple of investments in the country. What I'm trying to say is that right now, if anything happened to Mulika Studio, what would be you and Emaz's fallback position? Am I trying to make sense?
You are making sense.
Because if you go so high and then fall, what are you falling back to? What is your fallback position? Right? And that is what brings anxiety. If you have, for example, if all I had to get money from right now was my job, right? It means that if anything happened to my job, my fallback position will be at a poverty. Right?
Yeah.
But as you go up, you have to solve what the fallback position is, right? And for me, for example, is that, okay, if anything happened to my day job, I have a farm. How much money can I make from the farm quickly so that my kids don't even have to notice that, oh man, daddy lost his job, right?
Cash flow is
And as you go up, you have to solve for that. Now, the fact that we are not coming from extremely rich backgrounds, we can only start doing it within ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because you might have a problem for 5 million, but a friend of yours, someone you know, his cost of capital is 500,000. Right? Out of the 10 people, you will solve 500,000 for, 6 will not make money from that 500,000. But even if 2 did, do you know what it means? If you have 2 of your friends, you can quickly call to solve a rent problem for Malika and say, hey, bro, I need a quick 600,000 now. And if you give me 2 weeks, it will return a 600K. Right? Now, we can only do that within ourselves because we don't have a lot of collateral security to give the bank to give us 50 millions to invest. But the chances are that we don't even have strong businesses enough to bring back that 50 million.
Yeah.
But if your friend has, for example, cost of capital for 2 millions and they're bringing sound equipment from China, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
Right? But you have a 25% in that business. And you have like 4 friends who you do that with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he will not have 2 millions to start. But if the 4 of you brought 500K and he starts that business,
yeah,
it means you all have a stake in that business. You have a 25% in that business. Right?
Yeah.
But we have to be, firstly, like-minded, grounded people. Because, man, if I give you my 500K today and you don't return it, what makes you think I'll give you $1 million next time?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to, let me use a Uganda word. Yeah? We have to face our realities as us and solve our problems as us. So that we don't have that anxiety because all of us losing 500,000 each and me losing 2 million alone is not the same point of anxiety.
True.
Yeah?
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Stress.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll come and say, hey man, business, chaganye, but we'll all be there to say, yeah, man. I mean,
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Chidam.
Let's try something else now. We can do it better like this. Yeah. So that's why I think we can actually solve for our investment anxieties.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Najjib, for sharing your knowledge, your time with us at Youth on the Wheels.
Pleasure.
I'd like to give you just a few minutes to give us any parting shots you might have, any last things you would like to mention to the youth out there.
Yeah. So the youth is ages from From what? From like 16-ish
Yeah.
to...
45 there.
You mean 40 is still a youth?
Yeah. It's still very young.
Yeah. So, firstly, I don't have a lot of experience because I'm also I'm just trying to manage different things so that me and my community are living a better life. So there's something I started last year, and I'll no one knows about this except the people I'm doing it with. So last year, I started giving out $100 to anyone who can use that money to start something. And the reason I was doing that is because part of me loves really charity. I really love charity. But I don't believe in the charity of us collecting stuff and collecting money and going to give the needy one day and then we come back.
What happens then?
And then we plan for the same thing next year. It's good charity. It's a quick response to, it's a quick relief.
Yeah.
But I believe in something that is more sustainable as a change. So when I sat down with some of my people, we said, you know what? How can we be more impactful to our community, but also how can we grow a business model out of it? So we piloted it last year. About 8 people, we gave $100 each, and 5 of those people are sustainably making small monies out of that small money we gave them.
Yeah.
Now the plan is that for me is I cannot continue to get that money out of my pocket, but I could offer anyone $100 if they give me a very good business, and they'll have to return, even if it's $5,000 per week. I wouldn't mind that because ultimately it is for them to manage that business.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make here is that if you have an opportunity to help someone make money to genuinely sustain themselves, please take it. Because what looks like a very small investment is actually solving a bigger problem for you in the long run. For example, if you have siblings and you have an opportunity to take care of them and you don't, you will take responsibility for them when they are grown men and have kids.
Yeah.
Because after all, they are your family. So they'll either disturb you or your children. So instead of sitting on them now, take responsibility now so that even if it didn't work out, you did something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the only change we can really give to this country and our community is, for me, sustainable change, right? Because, man, we cannot wait for the government to... We are 40 what? We are 48 million people, right?
We can't wait for government
We can't.
to...
It cannot help all of us, man.
We have to come up
It cannot help all of us. So if you
Yeah.
have an opportunity to help, firstly yourself,
Yeah.
and invest in your community, please invest in your community, right? It is easier to solve astronomical problems if you are a community. Me, I don't believe in these rich men in our families where he's comfortable being the only rich man. I find that very myopic because if I'm going to solve a family problem that is worth 60 millions alone, why don't I help 10 other people who will contribute 5 millions each to help us solve a big family problem?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think I see a world where we can all actually genuinely succeed if we choose to.
Yeah.
But we have to make the choice, man. We have to make the choice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure one of our listeners will try and reach out to you because probably they have an idea of a business and they've heard that you're giving out $100
Per month.
per month.
It has to be one person because I don't have the funds to.
Yeah, so maybe just before you go, any platforms in case they want to reach out to you, anything they can come to
I am not very social
Yeah.
because my social media is for my private life.
Yeah.
Like the stupid things I do on social media are not reflective of the things I'm speaking right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think,
If you're not comfortable, we could leave it.
I mean, they could reach out to you on Malika Studios. I'll be
Yeah.
happy to
Yeah,
pick that
please
up.
reach out to me in case you want to ask Najjib any other questions. In case you're interested in anything he has said and you would like to get further insight on it.
I mean, it could also be to just,
Yeah.
speak about life.
Yeah, speak about life.
I'm more than happy to, it has to be relatable though. I'm not those motivational speakers who, I want things that are
think
relatable.
One of the things that influenced me to have you as my first guest for my first episode was that you are so relatable as a person, and you are young and youthful, and I've seen that you built systems that have helped you achieve goals that I know of from our conversations when you are going on journeys. And I think we have so many guys out there that can learn from you. And I was like, it would be nice to have someone who speaks the same language as us, the young people. Yeah. And they can relate to. Be the first guest we have on Youth on the Wheels.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Najjib. Once again, I want to say we're looking forward to having you back. Yeah, probably on a different topic that is more exciting and interesting for the young people out there.
Love it.
Because I know you are a man of different skills, and you interact in different spaces. I know you fit in so many spaces, even when you are a very principled person. I know that you are, because I've seen you in situations where I'm like, any other person at his level would not be here. Yeah, and I appreciate that about you. I appreciate that you came, you gave me the time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again to Malika Studios for having us, and thank you very much to our producer, Joseph Arins Emanzi. Big shouts out to you, and to you, our dear listener. We'll see you on our next episode.
Love it.
Bye.
Great. Thank you so much.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast, share with a friend, and follow us on social media to stay updated on new episodes and behind-the-scenes insights. Until next time, keep the wheels turning and the conversations flowing.